Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full glam, somewhat everyday makeup look. This is the makeup that I usually would do kind of on a day-to-day basis, depending on how glam I want to get. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first thing I need to do is start off with like a clean face. So I usually just go in with this Ole Henriksen Wonderful Double Cleanser. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wash my face, and I'm gonna probably fast forward this part because it's not really that exciting. So once I've washed my face with the cleanser, I'm gonna go in with a primer. So this is the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. Comes in a little tube like this, and I usually just apply 2 to 3 pumps. And this is just gonna help with the foundation and just has something to really stick to, and it kind of, you know, fills in your pores or whatever. So I kind of just apply this to my forehead, cheeks, chin, pretty much my entire face. Okay, so now that I have applied my primer, I'm gonna go in with foundation. So all I use is like one of these beauty blenders, and I get it pretty damp. And then I'm gonna go in with my foundation. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy Smooth Foundation, and it's in the shade 230 Buff. I kind of also use this foundation. It's the NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation, and it's in the shade Punjab, I think. Looks like that, but that shade's a little bit too light for me, so I typically just go in with something like this. The shade is pretty much an exact match to my skin tone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it out. So now that I've already applied my foundation, I'm gonna go in with concealer. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Medium. So I just like to apply this right beneath my eye area. And this kind of helps with covering like dark circles or, you know, just imperfections or breakouts and stuff like that. Anything that you really want to conceal. So I usually just take this, like I said, beneath my eye, and also on my chin area where I get occasional breakouts, and also a little bit in the center of my eyebrows. And then we'll go back in with my beauty blender and blend it out. So now that my concealer is blended, I'm gonna go in with this little razor and just kind of clean up a little bit of the hair underneath my eyebrow. Usually I would do this after I have applied my primer, or even before that, but I kind of forgot that step. So I'm just kind of, you know, going in between my brows, making sure it's all clean. Okay, so now that I did that, I'm gonna go back in with my beauty blender and just kind of clean it up a little bit. Make sure it's all blended out. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna go in with my translucent powder. I'm just currently using this KVD Kat Von D translucent setting powder. And I usually have a Laura Mercier powder with me, but I didn't bring it, so right now I'm using this. But what I usually do is I take the powder, put it in the cap, and then I put my beauty blender in it so I can apply it. But right now this is like, the cap is like way too small for this to put it in, so I put the powder on my palette right now. So just do whatever you can to make it work. concealer that I applied. Okay, so now that I kind of have that going on, I'm gonna go ahead and go into doing my brows. So for my brows, I'm using the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I use it in the shade Brunette. And so I'm gonna go in and outline the very inner corner of my brow, kind of like around this area. And I'm gonna go up and over. Sometimes it breaks, that's okay. And kind of make sure I'm following the natural arch of my brow. And I'm gonna go in the inner corner, same thing, up and over, down. And just fill in the sparse areas. Okay, so now that I've done one brow, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I've done my brows. I'm first gonna just dust away this powder that I have on my face. So I'm gonna use just like this blending brush. It's like an AOA F13 brush. And make sure that I just take away or kind of blend out this powder. Okay, so now that I blend out the powder, I'm gonna go in and conceal my brows with a concealer. This is the NC25 Studio Finish Concealer by MAC. It's definitely not in its best condition right now because I've been using this for such a long time, but it's my go-to for carving out or concealing my brows. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this Morphe E43 brush. It's like a kind of a tapered brush, but go ahead and take this brush and a little bit of that concealer, and I'm gonna go right beneath my brow and go ahead and conceal my brows. Go around my brow like that. As you can tell, it's kind of like how it's gonna look, but just without the concealer obviously around it. Do the same for the other side. So that I've carved out my brows, I'm gonna go back in with my Beauty Blender and blend out the concealer. Now that I did my brows, I like to always kind of set them in place with this NYX brow, or it's called the brow glue. It comes like a little cute tube like this and has a little wand, so I just kind of run it over my brows so it can stay in place all day. I don't like to go too much, like I don't like to use too much of this product because it can look a little like wet, like too wet, so just go in, you know, like with a decent amount of this product. And so yeah, that's what it pretty much looks like. Okay, so now that's done, I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. I use the Bobbi Brown like foundation stick. Oh, I almost dropped it. I go in with the Bobbi Brown foundation stick in the shade Cool Almond. Looks like that. And go in and contour. So how I usually contour is I take it on the side of my face like that. I went a little bit too in on this side, but usually I kind of follow like the very end of my brow and then I kind of just stop at that point. So this one I obviously went a little too far in, but that's just a good way to kind of do it at the very end of your brow, just kind of downwards. And I take it across the top of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and then also just a little bit on my jawline. Go back in with my damp Beauty Blender and blend it out. I also kind of missed a step here, but what I do is I take that the foundation stick, or the foundation stick, and I kind of get the very tip of my nose, kind of like that. It makes your nose look a little like snatched. So you really don't need a nose job when you have concealer or contour. I mean, like, just makes the appearance of your nose look a little slimmer. So this is pretty much what my face is looking like right now. Make sure that everything is blended in well. And then I'm gonna go in with my blush. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this blush brush, I don't know. e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush. It's like a double-sided brush. I use this end and I take this Milani blush in the shade Luminoso. It's really pretty, has like a nice sheen to it. So I go ahead and apply that to like the apples of my cheeks and upwards towards the top of my ear area, kind of like that. And you're kind of getting a more lifted look your face this way. I think blush is so pretty. It just makes your face, or makes you look youthful. And I used to not really like blush before, but now I can't even leave the house without it. I think it's just so pretty. I also apply it just a little bit to like this top area. And I bring it a little bit inwards towards my nose like that. Oops. Okay, so now that I've pretty much already done my face, I'm gonna go ahead and set it with this Morphe Luminous Setting Spray all over. And yes, I use a lot, but I do that so I don't have to touch up throughout the day. Sometimes I do, like with my lipstick, but pretty much my face is already set. If I need to lighten it up, I go back in with my beauty blender and just pat it in, just like that. It's another easy tip or trick, is just if you have a little bit too much of something like the blush, go back in with your beauty blender and just press it into your skin. It kind of doesn't make it so, out there. And so yeah, that's kind of what it looks like right now. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go in with my eyeshadow. I'm gonna use the Makeup by Mario palette. This is my go-to palette, the only palette. Well, I don't want to say the only palette. I don't want to say the only palette I ever will use, but it's like one of my favorites. It just has all the shades that I absolutely love. So I'm gonna go in with my blending brush. And this brush is like super old. I don't know the name of it. I don't know what brand it is. Definitely quite old. I usually take like these two shades right here in the very corner of the palette. They don't have names, unfortunately, so I'm just going to tell you like where they're at in the palette that I use them for. So I use those two shades all over my lid and blend that upwards towards my brow bone and make sure it's blended out. The worst thing you can do is just like have a line directly underneath your brow bone in the very corner. It's just like you need to blend out your eyeshadow. So always like blend it out. Okay, so this is what my eyes are looking like right now. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go in with the this brown, like this dusty brown color. It looks like kind of reddish brown almost. And I'm gonna use the high definition brush. It's like kind of angled, but it's not, sort of. Just take these two colors at the bottom of the palette and then just apply that to the very outer corner. This little Real Techniques brush doesn't have a name, but it came in like the set of like 7 other brushes. But I'm gonna go ahead and take those original 2 colors that I first started using, and then take that under my eye on the lower lash line. Okay, so go ahead and do the other side. My lips are so dry. Okay, like 5 minutes left. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and use my mascara. This is the Stila Huge Waterproof Mascara. Okay, so this is what it's looking like right now. And sometimes I would go in with this NYX ink eyeliner, this black eyeliner, and just create a small wing, but I really don't have time to do that right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just apply my false lashes. So the lashes I use are these right here. It's a Lash Masterpiece Couture in the style Avant-Garde. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't really know, but you guys can take a look at it. And these are only like $10. And I reuse my brows, or reuse my brows. I reuse my eyelashes because, I mean, why would you want to throw it away after you use it only one time, you know? So those are like $10, and I usually get like a good 4 uses out of them, 4 to 5 uses. So I'm just gonna go apply these, and I'll be right back to show you the final look. All right, guys, so this is the final makeup look. This is how it turned out. I think it looks really pretty with the lashes. I also used the shade Nutmeg for my lip pencil, and then my lipstick, I used the Juvia's Place lipstick in the shade Me. And so yeah, this is how it turned out. I kind of like it. Like I said, it's full glam, so you can, you know, make it however glam you want. You can just kind of build up the makeup as you please. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this look, and if you did, just give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.